Thank you very much for joining us again. This is Pastor Isaac Opoku-Asare. I hope you had a great week or your week is going well. And as we always want to remind ourselves, it's because of God's grace. That's why we are here. Because if you think it's your own ability that brought you here, then you have to really also think about how you're going to get there. And human efforts can most of the time at a point in time will fail. But God with you is what is going to guarantee long-term sustenance and ensure that this is not, whatever good thing is happening in your life is not a 9-day wonder. I just want to start with prayer and then we can continue. Heavenly Father, we thank and bless you for the privilege of today. Today is actually a privilege that you have given to us. Grant us the grace to enjoy it. Grant us the grace to share it. And grant us the grace to appreciate it. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. So, beloved, there's a lot of things that is going on around, right? A lot of issues, both within the country and also outside. There are unquestionably many unresolved issues or issues at the national level, and I believe that at your state level, and also probably at your family level, that we may not have clear answers to them. And there is also the issue of dealing with a problem that has been going on for a long time. And today I want to encourage somebody that God wants you to understand that the problem that you have been dealing with for a very long time, as we enter this holy week of Jesus' death and resurrection, I want to assure you that do not give up. I want to assure you to hold on and do not give up. Because what seems to be chronic and a permanent situation in your life, the undesirable situation will soon come to an end. You know, the children of Israel were in the land of Egypt for 430 years. And when they were there, I'm sure that by the time that they got to the 300 generation, most of them thought that this Egypt is going to be a final place. We are going away. And when they got to the 400th year, it would be hard to argue that God will save them. Any of us, if your people stay in one area for 400 years, when they ask you what is your hometown, you're going to say that's your hometown. But I want you to understand that negative situation is not your final destination. Egypt is not your hometown. Listen to me. If you're a child of God. And I don't mean the physical land of Egypt, but I'm talking about any situation, any form of slavery, any form of bondage from the devil and the cohorts in your life. That negative situation, though it has been with you, though it has been in your family for a long time, that is not your final destination. Because having been there for, Michael, you can give me water if you have one. Having been there for 400 years, then God sent a man by name Moses to tell them that, look, I have heard the cry of my people and I have come to rescue them. You know, this is a message of God to somebody that is hearing me. No matter where you are, You may be in an emotional Egypt with depression, anxiety. You may be in a physical Egypt where you've got a diagnosis that you want to give up. You may be in a financial Egypt where you don't know what is going to happen to your finances. But understand this. God sent me this morning to tell you, He has seen your misery and He has heard your cry. So you should not give up. Thank you, Michael, for giving me this water. You know, Michael is a good guy, especially on the days that we do our podcast. So thank you very much. I think I should be drinking from the Michael. Next time I need to be drinking from the mug because I believe that even as I drink from it and I pray over it, I'm putting health into my body. And that's why we encourage people that you can get a mug for somebody and tell them every day you drink from this mug, you can say that I'm putting God into my life, right? So back to the point here, that negative situation in your life is not the end. Somebody is we heard somebody today looking for a job. The joblessness is not the end of your life. Understand this. It's been there for a long time. But the long duration of the problem does not negate the promise of God concerning you. And let's talk about the story. We're not going to make it long at all because we want to encourage you to share this message with other people to tell them that the negative situation in your life is not permanent. God has heard you, God has seen you, and God is going to turn things around for you. But listen to me, somebody, listen here. Now God sends Moses to come. And Moses, the man of God, comes in and tells them that God has sent me to deliver you, so it's all going to be well with you. Listen to this. Now Moses goes in to perform one miracle. Instead of things getting better, things seem to have gotten worse. Somebody listen to me. You heard a message that God is going to deliver you, and instead of things getting better, things seem to have taken a worse turn. Don't give up. Because God is still on the path of deliverance concerning you. So Moses ended up performing one miracle after the other, right? There were 9 plagues. Just think about it. Frogs to gnats to darkness, everything that you can think of was thrown at Egypt. But it seems like it doesn't seem to budge. But as I've told a lot of people, God's promise and you will last, but the devil will not last. Right? And at this time, which is the Holy Week, this is a week that will remind ourselves also of the Passover. So whether it is Easter, whether it is Passover, whatever it is the same period. It is the same things that we're talking about here. So, on the Passover time, the scripture that you see here is Genesis chapter 11. Genesis chapter 11, and we can all read it. It said, the verse 1, God said to Moses, I'm going to hit Pharaoh and Egypt one final time. Listen to me. You may have tried something 9 times, and it looks like it's not working. It looks like the enemy is not budging. It looks like the situation is what? It's not going to change. Listen to the word of the Lord that's coming to you. In this season of Passover, in this season of Easter, understand this word that is coming to you, that God is going to deliver the final blow to the enemy concerning your life. He said this, listen, I want to read. We'll all see it here. God said to Moses, I'm going to hit Pharaoh and Egypt one final time, and he will let you go. Understand this. There is a mighty hand of God. There is a powerful outstretched arm of God that is going to come into your life to totally destroy the power of the enemy, to break the hold of slavery and bondage. Any form of bondage, spiritual in your life, mental bondage, spiritual bondage, physical bondage. The word of the Lord to somebody here is don't give up, because God is about to break it. Instead of being jobless, you're going to be a CEO. Take my word. Instead of you being sick, you're going to be praying for others to get better. It is coming. But you need to hang in there. Don't give up. Don't give up on yourself and don't give up on your family. But this is what I love about it. He said, when he releases you, that will be the end of Egypt for you. That the days of negativity, the days of bondage, the days of deprivation, they are coming to an end. And I love this. He said he wouldn't be able to get rid of you fast enough. That means the thing is going to come so fast that you'll be surprised. When God stretches his hand, that will surely come into your life. That is what is going to happen. What did God do on that day? They applied the blood to their doorposts. And what I want to encourage you is this is a season as we talk about Jesus shedding his blood on the cross for us. I want you to apply the blood to every situation in your life. We'll be talking about this in greater detail next week. But apply the blood. Put the blood concerning your situation. Declare that every area of my life that the enemy is trying to put me in bondage concerning that, I apply the blood of Jesus. Because whenever you apply the blood, it provokes God to act on your behalf. You see, when Abel's blood went into the ground, God said, his blood is calling to me. Whenever you apply the blood, you plead the blood concerning your children, concerning your finance, concerning your health. That blood that you apply calls to heaven to intervene for you. And that is why you and I must do that. Why am I telling you this? Because I want to end by telling you this. He says, this is what you should do. This is what you should do. Tell the people to ask. Your deliverance comes from asking. Your deliverance comes from what? Speaking. So you have heard me tell you that God is going to deliver a blow to the enemy that he cannot survive. And it is going to come to you faster than the speed of light concerning your situation. But for that to happen, you have to speak it. He said, tell the people to ask, each man his neighbor and each woman for a woman from her neighbor, for things made of silver and gold. God saw to it. Why am I saying this? When you ask, you put a responsibility on God to do it. They were not supposed to be responsible for it, but rather they would ask. So as you plead the blood activates heaven to act on your behalf. He said, God saw to it that the Egyptians like the people. Also, Moses was greatly admired by the Egyptians, a respected public figure among both Pharaoh's servants and the people at large. My point is this. If you and I, the final encouragement I want to give to you is this. So far as your mouth is closed, you are closing your deliverance. You are closing your breakthrough. You are closing the door. Open your mouth during this week, Holy Week, and apply the blood through your prayer and petition. And if you do it, God will see to it that he will turn things favorably for you, even in Jesus' name. God bless you, beloved. This is God's Rhythm. This is Pastor Isaac Opoku-Asare. We're going to take a short break and we'll come back to you to continue a very interesting topic about cardiovascular health. Remember, I'm also an interventional cardiologist and a vascular guy. We're going to come back to you about something that affects everybody. People keep on saying, I don't know why I'm gaining weight. I'm doing nothing. I'm not eating. And so I don't know why I'm gaining weight. Today you will understand. This is something that has happened to me several times. I see Michael laughing right now. Today you're going to understand. Why do people ask that question? Doc, I don't understand why I'm putting on so much weight. I'm not doing anything. I'm not eating that much. There is an issue about it, and we're going to discuss it. God bless you. Hang in there. Keep speaking, pleading the blood, and things will soon change because heaven is about to deliver a blow to the enemy. God bless you.
This episode is sponsored by Zenith Christ Family Chapel. ZCFC is a scripture-based church located in Spencerville, Maryland. Join us every Sunday in person or live on YouTube every Sunday at 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. God bless you.
Michael, are we ready? Okay, very good. Okay, I always have to check with Michael. You know, he's the guy who IT guys. They always know what to do and stuff like that. So yeah, Michael is a fantastic guy. So today we are talking about something that is very important that I go through every day, and I believe most people go through every day, and it's the concept of energy balance. Okay, energy balance. A lot of people ask me this question, dog. I've not been eating a lot. So why is it that I'm not eating a lot yet I'm gaining so much weight? And not only that I'm gaining so much weight, a lot of things that are happening to me in terms of my cardiovascular health. Remember that the pillars of cardiovascular health is what? Number one, we talk about an exercise regimen. And we're talking about leisure time, moderate intensity exercise like walking for 150 minutes a day, remember? Keeping your cholesterol ideally, but if you don't have any heart attack or anything, total cholesterol less than 200, right? And your bad cholesterol ideally less than 100, and then good cholesterol. If you're a woman, from between 40 to 50 for a man. Okay. And then we also talk about getting your blood pressure under control, right? And then we also talked about getting your blood sugars under control, hemoglobin A1C, which is also under control. And in addition to these things, we also now include appropriate sleep pattern. I'm making changes in my life. Now we know that the more you sleep, the longer you live. Okay, so I decided to change certain things in my life. And yesterday I had an Uber sleep. Yesterday was a very, very good sleep because I think I went to sleep around 11:30, and I woke up at almost 6:30 or 7 o'clock, which means that this is like heaven for me, you know. So I really, really, really enjoy, and I'm doing this because I realize that I have to practice what I'm preaching. I cannot be sleeping just 4 hours, 5 hours, and I expect to think that I'm doing the right thing. It is believed that good sleep potentiates all the other components of cardiovascular health, and we now also talk about mental health. Mental health because you see, I always say everything comes down to the Bible. Before they added mental health, and I can tell I've been following this for 7 years, right? Initially there was no mental health. Now they've added mental health. Why? Because the Bible says, as a man thinketh, so is he. So if your thoughts go in the right direction, right, you will end up being in the right place at the right time. So now mental health is a very important part of cardiovascular health. So all these things are important. But let's go to the topic today, which is energy balance. Why are we talking about energy balance? Because I always get this question, that dog, why is it that I am not exercising, I am not doing a lot of things, yet I am putting on weight, which is causing my blood pressure to go up, my blood sugar to go up? What is going on? It is a principle of energy balance. So what is a principle of energy balance? Before we come to other things, I'm going to go to a slide for you to know, and then all of us will come to the same page, right? The concept of energy balance is my slide. Let me look at it. The concept of my slides are moving a little too far. The concept of energy balance is the fact that what you eat should be equal to what you spend. Very, very important. What you eat should balance what you spend. Why am I saying this? If you are Michael who exercises a lot, goes to the gym, run around, right? Boy, you need to eat well. And if you are not moving a lot or your activities is going down, then you should eat less. It's very important. So a lot of people who come to me and say, Doc, I'm not eating a lot, but I am putting on weight and my blood pressure is going up, other things. If you listen carefully to them, you'll realize where it's coming from. There is an imbalance between what they eat and how they spend. So let me give you an example. I used to work in a particular university that had a 6-story building. And every day I used to climb up to the 6th and 7th floor, at least 4 or 5 times. Now I work in an environment where I don't have to climb like that. My energy balance is off, meaning that I'm spending less energy and I'm eating the same amount of food. So when I realized that, oh, gee, I'm beginning to put on weight. And I was asking myself, I've been eating the same food, the same salad. So what is going on? What is going on is because, listen to me, what is going on is that I ended up with energy imbalance. So what I'm eating was the same, but my exercise and my expenditure has come down. And if your expenditure comes down, then what happens? The excess calorie is part in your body. Let me tell you this. Beyond everything we say, when it comes to cardiovascular health, calorie intake is the prime thing. Hands down. Irrespective of, we'll go into all the other details. But people ask me this question. Okay, I'm eating salad. I say, of course, the elephant eats salad. Compare the elephant to the cheetah. The cheetah eats meat and the elephant eats salad. But why is the elephant big? Because the elephant eats almost like a pack. So the fact that it is green does not mean that you cannot consume what? You cannot consume the calorie. Everything is about the total calorie amount that you consume. So let me explain something to you that people do not know. When you are young, when you are 16 years, when you are 20 years, and that is what people don't know. For every decade in your life, your energy consumption per day for every decade goes down by 100. So let's look at an example. I'm talking about me and Michael now, right? So looking at the age difference between me and Michael, my energy balance, Michael has 300 more calories that he can consume a day compared to me. The problem that I had is that I'm trying to eat the same food that I ate 20 years ago. So even if I'm maintaining the same level of exercise, my metabolic ability to harness the amount of calorie that I'm eating goes down. So you begin to see that if somebody is 14 years or 16 years, or the person is 21 years, compared to the person that is 61, if the person does the same form of exercise, right, it doesn't change it, and eats the same amount of food, that person at the age of 61 will be gaining weight. Why? Because he's having an excess of 400 calories a day in a system that his body cannot produce. So the more you grow, the less the ability of your body to harness or appropriately deal with your calorie. So your calorie intake must go down. So if somebody is a bodybuilder, he can decide to eat. If he's going to burn a lot of energy, he can decide to take in a lot of calorie and he should be fine. So this is what people don't understand. And because they don't understand it, it is what creates a lot of problem for most people. So we're going to come to the point here is we're talking about the fundamentals of energy balance. This is the fundamental. What you eat should equate to what? To what you spend. The first principle we want to establish is that for every decade in your life, there should be a reduction of about 70 to 100 calorie consumption that you do. So the older you grow, the less of the calorie that you do. Unless the older you grow, you balance it with more what? More energy expenditure, which does not always happen. Generally, people exercise less as they grow. And people do less as they grow. So your goal is to make sure. So a lot of these people that I talk to, it is this fundamental lack of understanding about energy balance. So you ask these people, what do you do? What have you been doing? Instead, I'm eating the same food, but they don't realize that the things that they used to do, the walking that they used to do. Let me tell you one thing that happened with COVID-19. COVID-19 was one of the huge things that caused energy imbalance. Why? People used to walk, people used to go around, but because of the fact that now our work habits were changed so that we're in one place for a long time, it put us in complete what? Energy imbalance. I was talking to somebody who went to work yesterday, and he said, I went to work and I walked 8,000 steps. Steps have not been shown to be doing something, clearly, though, but I can tell you that person, if they are at home, they don't get 1,000 steps. So this person works from home and also works from what goes to work. So when he goes to work, he gets 8,000 steps. When he's at home, if he gets 500, only God will tell. Telling you that if the person keeps on eating the same food, even if he does eat the same food or eat less food, the person will gain what? More weight. Because the person's expenditure has come down. And that is why I realize whenever I travel and go on vacation with my children, we eat everything. We become like the elephant, right, along the way. But whenever we go on vacations, by the time we've come back, we've lost weight. I did not realize. Till one time, the last time we went to Disney, and I decided to get this new smartwatch. And I realized that when we were there, we were walking around 18,000 steps a day. Going around and seeing all that. So our energy expenditure was higher than the food that we were eating. And no wonder we ended up losing weight. So we're going to come back to you. But the first principle we want to establish is this. What you eat must equate to what you spend. So the less you are doing, the less you should be taking in. The more you are doing, the more you can eat. I tell people, if you're going to do the exercise, and we're going to come to the other micronutrients and other things, but the principle is this. Things change. Life is defined by change. And if your age is changing, you cannot keep on eating the same way because your metabolic rate is on the downside. So that is why you need to adjust your food to allow you to be able to stay in energy balance. That will go a very long way to help you. We'll go for a short break and we'll come back and continue this very important discussion. Send your questions to us about energy balance, which affects your overall health if you can do that. Thank you very much.
This episode is sponsored by Advanced Cardiovascular Institute. ACI treats a myriad of cardiovascular issues using patient-centered, minimally invasive procedures. Dial 301-755-6500 or scan the QR code to schedule your appointment today.
Welcome to Advanced Cardiovascular Institute and White Oak Cardiovascular Center. This is a place that you can be assured of evidence-based, patient-centered, and compassionate care. What does it all mean? It means that when you come to Advanced Cardiovascular Institute and White Oak Cardiovascular Center, we do not see you as a patient, but we will see you as a member of our family. Therefore, we treat you the same way we treat our family members. That is why at this place, we have taken measures to make sure that you are being treated with the highest care and, more importantly, with people that are qualified to do what they are supposed to do. If you look at our rooms, you realize that we've made room for any condition, including whether there is a pandemic or not. Additionally, you also see that we have a staff that also cares for you. So as you come here, we don't see you once again just as a patient, but we'll see you as a family. Okay, Michael, are we ready? Okay, we're ready. Let's do this. Okay. So, welcome again to God's Rhythm. And we want to continue our discussion. Invite somebody here because this is a very important discussion. We're talking about energy balance. And why is it important? I want to show you a slide, right? Because I'm showing a slide that I copied directly from American Heart Association 2025 update on health and stroke statistics. And this is what it says. It says approximately for every 40 seconds, an American will have a heart attack. This is something here that everybody can see. I know that they don't want to project, but this is the document that we have here. I got it directly from that place. And why is that important? The reason why I've said this, so this is not new. But the new thing that I want a lot of people to know is that I said every 40 seconds, an American will have a heart attack. And that means that approximately 720,000 people will have a heart attack. Out of these, and about 335,000 will have a recurrent heart attack. That they got one heart attack and they'll get a second one. But let me tell you why this discussion is important. This discussion is important because about 170,000 people will get heart attack without knowing that they've got a heart attack. You know why that is serious? Because that form of heart attack, we call it silent heart attack, is without symptoms. So despite all the things that we've said earlier on about symptoms, right? It is also important for you to also understand that taking the right measures and doing the right thing is even more important for you and for all of us. So we are talking about energy balance today because if you and I would do what is important and not sit down for things to talk to us, that will go a long way to be able to save us. So let's talk about one example of energy balance. So I go out there and I have this soda, right? You can name all of them. They are full of sugar, 100 calorie. And I want to drink it. I drink that 100 calorie. I can tell you, drinking the soda, if it takes me 1 hour to drink the soda, there's a problem. I can get that soda down within like 5-10 minutes, okay? Try and exercise on a treadmill and see how long it will take you to burn the 100 calories. And that is what is going to guide you when you want to practice energy balance. Because, why? It is so quick to sit down within 30 minutes to put down 1,000 calories in your system. And yet, it is so difficult to spend what? 1,000 calories outside. And that is why you need to be mindful of what you put in there and understand the concept. So I want to go back to a slide here that was going to help all of us. The principle behind, you see the scale over here. Michael, I hope everybody sees it very well. You can zoom on this scale. The principle of energy balance for you to be able to enjoy life is to focus on food that have got low calorie content, very good micronutrients, and then reduce your reliance or consumption of high calorie, ultra processed food. So a lot of people tell me, why are you talking about salad? Let me give you the reason. One, salad is unprocessed. Number two, it has low calorie. So it will keep your energy balance on the low side. So here you see he's talking about fruits and vegetables, whole grains, right? And then nuts and poultry. And then if we're talking about consumption of oil, you want to consume oil. This slide is from American Heart Association, right? You want to consume liquid oils. Why are we saying that? Butter, right, is solid. palm oil, coconut oil. Anything that you see it that it is solid, it goes into your heart, it solidifies the plaque. And that is why extra virgin olive oil is the best. So the big thing, if you want to keep yourself in good energy balance, beverages and food with added sugar should be the last on the list. Then processed food should also be lower. Processed meat, I tell people over and over again, these things are important. So the first principle is to try to shift your total calorie down, yet you are eating the same volume of food. Let me put an example. A bowl full of white rice, that bread, white bread, all those things, a bowl full of white rice can give you, it all depends on the size of the bowl. It can give you 2,000 calories. There is a food in Ghana, they call it banku or or kinky, right? If it is big, it's round, that dough, it carries energy. And if you consume two, you may be down to about 1,500. That is all that you may need to eat for that day. And if you eat 3 times of that food, and I know certain people who eat that food twice in a day, their energy, their calorie intake is already double. So, and yet they do the same thing. And that is what leads to problem. So go for things that have low calorie. And I don't want to, the reason why we're doing this program is to move away from just counting. You don't need to, who has time to be counting this food that I'm going to eat, how many calories? And this one, how many? You don't have time for that. You need to know right from the beginning what things that have low calories and go to them, which is the salads and the vegetables. The whole grains, maybe it is good because of micronutrients, but definitely things like fish, they have low calorie and it is good. Proteins are good, especially lean proteins. I tell people that I cannot live with it. So the first principle about achieving energy balance is to shift to low calorie food, right? I believe there are people from all places around the country and around the world. I mean, my origin is from Ghana. I have the fufu over there. The fufu is best, is a good food. But you are not going to eat it 3 times a day. And if you, sometimes certain people that I see them, the size of their fufu should be for 3 days. That is what they should have consumed for the 3 days. But they eat breakfast, they eat what? They eat lunch, and they eat the fufu in the evening. That's not right. That is definitely not right. So, number 1, shift to low. And if you know that, okay, I ended up this evening, or this afternoon, I took about 1,000 calories. Make sure that evening you exercise to offset it. So that is the first principle about energy balance. So now let us go to the other things that we talked about. I don't want it to be a lecture, but I want it to be as interactive as possible. So let's go to some things that are important. And that's what I'm talking about. Identifying the things that have high calorie and then moving away from them. Always think about it. So I make things very simple. The second thing that you also need to do. I'm just making sense. So I will say the first thing is what? Shift to low calorie. Michael, you hear this? Try to add some salad to what you eat, right? This core calorie counting business is a very difficult thing. But there are certain things. Let's look at fish. How much calorie can a fish contain? And it's very good. So shift towards that. So somebody told me that, dog, if the salad would taste like the skin of the chicken that I like, the fried chicken, I will eat a lot of that. I said it's not happening, okay? So start from somewhere and then bring in a balance. So the second thing about energy balance is about how you, let me go to this slide. I talked about this. It's understanding your calorie and your sources, right? So move to know a food that has high calorie and low. So let's talk about nuts. Nuts have a lot of calorie. I love nuts. I mean, if you know me, I love nuts. As I'm talking to you now, I have 3 or 4 boxes of nuts at home. because I don't want my nuts to finish, right? I love nuts. But understand this, nuts have high calorie. High calorie, right? And some of them contain a lot of salt. So I had to go online to find a company that produces the nut that I have without salt, so that I can do half and half, right? I learned it from a lady who is 102. He said, I asked her, what is the secret of your life? He said, doctor, always half and half. I said, what is that? He said, everything you eat, make sure it's half and half. If you take the drink, mix it. I said, I'm going to take that thing. So I'm doing half and half. The thing that she's 102. I mean, of course, she has some wisdom. So I wanted to learn. But every time I ask her, she says, doctor, half and half. I said, wow. So what else? I said, yeah, if something is salty, I mix it, I make it half, and I consume it. I think that was a very wise saying. So identify and understand calories and their source. That's what I've said. So you need to shift. So once you do that, the second thing that you need to do is about your activity. Remember the balance. So why am I saying this? You need to increase your activity. Whatever you're doing, you need to increase it. Have time down and do it. Get on a treadmill, or if I tell people, if you know that you don't have time to exercise, sometimes I don't have time to exercise. If I go to the hospital, at least in my life, I don't take the elevator. I try not to take elevator. When I'm in the hospital or any place, I try to walk. Sometime by the time I get to the 6th floor, they need to call 911 for me, okay? But I will still go. Because I know that if I'm going to be spending time in the hospital that night and I come home, I cannot exercise. That is my time for my energy balance. I just want to do something to be able to help me. And as I tell you, now they've added a 7th floor or something like that. By the time I get there, I'm holding on to the pillars, right? Michael is laughing at me, but I can tell you, guys much younger than my age, they can't get to the 5th floor, right? By the time they get to the 5th floor, they are going out to find to catch the elevator. So I think that is good. I just want to show you here, like we're going to talk about the micronutrients, right? So everything that you are eating, you need to know, okay, your carbohydrates. Carbohydrates unquestionably have high calorie. And in addition to that, they have the second thing, high glycemic index, and they are probably the biggest source of our problem. So that is something that you want to take care of. So we want to do that. The second thing that you want to do also is proteins. Proteins have high have got calorie, but you want to moderate it. Fat definitely has a lot of calorie, but fat is also important. A lot of people say, I want to be fat free. It's not a good idea. You want to consume the fat in an appropriate amount, low amount. So this whole concept of completely fat free is, in my opinion, sometimes an unsustainable lifestyle. But you should be able to consume it in lower amounts to ensure that overall, not only are you having an energy balance, but the nutrients that you're having in your food is important. But let me go to the exercise part of it. So I tell people, if you want to do energy balance, this is where the time you eat makes a difference. Because we're going to talk about this. If you eat breakfast, I'm going to lay emphasis on it. If you eat breakfast, and I don't have the privilege sometimes to eat breakfast the way I want to. But if you eat breakfast, it's a important part of energy balance. Why? If you eat breakfast and you don't pass out, you're going to walk around and you use the energy. If you eat lunch and you don't go to sleep immediately, because I know certain people, immediately they eat lunch, all the blood starts going to the belly, they want to go and sleep, okay? It happens. But if you eat lunch and you do not go to sleep immediately, you are going to use it. Here is why dinner is a problem. And that is why when I come home in the evening and I'm going to eat, I really go for my salad and I go for things that have got low energy, no calorie. I go for my salad, I go for my fruit and my piece of meat, and I'm done. That is what I did yesterday. I went for my kale. I had a mango. I added a mango to it, and my wife made an awesome. She's very good at cooking. Let me just tell you that if you don't know, right? She made me an awesome salmon. So it was salmon, and then my kale and that. I'm not saying that this is the perfect scenario, but the reason why I picked those choices is the fact that when I ate the salmon, I felt a difference between eating my salmon and eating my meat. Why? Because I think that the salmon in this case came with what? Low calorie, good in omega-3, and that is important. So try to eat like a king in breakfast. Eat like a prince in the afternoon. And then eat like a pauper in the evening. We don't do that. But it's a very important part of energy balance. And somebody said this. I'm showing you this slide. I got all these slides from Copilot, just to let you know, right? You can't eat like I'm eating. I'm sorry. And you cannot eat like, I cannot eat like what you're eating. You know why? Because it's about your lifestyle, right? I sometimes go to work. I start work at 8 o'clock, and I can be in procedures all the way till 8 o'clock. And people who work with me will know. I used to work in the place. I used to go to work at 7 o'clock, and I can be doing procedures till I come out at 1 o'clock in the morning. And I'll be moving around, because the guy who trained me was like that. But somebody also does an office work, and in the office work, there's Diet Pepsi here, right? There is a true Coca-Cola here. Every time he stretches a hand, it touches food, and they come in, right? The person will eat breakfast. When he eats breakfast, he comes to the office. And he comes to the office, he realizes that somebody brought us breakfast. They are donuts. Do you see my donut picture? He goes to eat the donuts. Then after eating the donuts, it will be around 12 o'clock. And at 12 o'clock, they go and what? It's time to eat. He goes and then eat. Then he comes in the evening. He comes in the evening because it's evening you eat. I tell people, I don't know the rule why we end up eating 3 square meals. There is no theory about 3 square meals. Please, it's energy balance. I tell people, don't eat because it is time to eat. Eat because you are hungry. If you lead your life, that is how nature is. That is why it is known that when a lion is full and he sees food in front of him, they look elsewhere. Because when they are full, they have no appetite for food. But humans, we eat because of what? Because it's time. Who told you it's time? You should use your own body clock to guide you. It's something that we don't talk about in energy balance. Eat, the third principle. Eat because you're hungry. Don't eat because it's time to eat. And I can tell you this. My staff asks me, why don't you eat lunch? I tell them I'm not hungry. If I'm not hungry, and they say, you know, sometimes what they tell me, let me tell you the second one. People eat because there's food. People eat because it is time to eat. And people eat because there is food. You know why they ask me to eat? They said, oh, we just got lunch. Won't you eat? I don't eat because the food is available. I eat because I'm hungry. When I use my own body clock, if I am hungry, then that means that my energy, my calorie level is on the low side, and I'm going to do that. I tell you this, practice that, and you wouldn't need to eat 3 square meals. I want to bring this to an end. So we've talked about energy, we've talked about lifestyle, and the lifestyle includes shifting your food to breakfast, if you can, going for low-calorie food, and that is going to be able to help you. There is something here that we want everybody to look at. And this is something that people do not understand. Basal metabolic rate. What is your basal metabolic rate? Your basal metabolic rate is based on things like your age, your activity. So people come to me and ask me, Doc, what do you think I should eat? The first question I ask them, what are you doing? Because what you do will determine what you eat. If the guy that is talking to me is a bodybuilder, I'm going to tell him, buddy, you can go for like 2,000 calories. If the guy that I'm talking to hardly moves from his chair when he's at work for 8 hours, I'm going to tell you, you probably need 500 calories because your energy balance is off. So it has to be what you eat. And as we have said, for every decade, you need to cut your calorie intake by what? 70 to 100. So if you used to eat a certain type of food, think about it. That as you move forward, and even our rate is affected by men and women. So your body composition. So all those things go in, but don't make it too difficult. As you grow, if you are not exercising more, which is here, that everybody must exercise, as we grow, we must all cut down what we eat, right? So that at the end of the day, it is going to help you. Let me talk about the power of exercise. Exercise burns your calorie, but it also enables your body to use your calorie well. So there is another dimension to it. So not only are you having so not only are you having the calorie in the right amounts, now your body will also use the calorie in a better way. So it boosts your metabolism, and that is the power of it. So something that is a 61-year-old that is exercising and a 61-year-old that is not exercising, they can eat the same amount of food based on their age. Yet the person that is exercising will have a better energy balance because the person's metabolism, the way the body breaks down their calorie, will be better compared to the person that does not have that. May we end with I just want to end with just a few principles here that is going to help you. Look at this chart. I know Michael looks at it and then we can end this chart. Okay? Look at this. It's a very important way. I'm going to show you 2 slides and make it simple. Whenever you get up and you want to put something into your mouth, ask yourself, is it a high or a low calorie food that I'm eating? I'm telling you, the French fries out there, high calorie. The white bread, high calorie. The rice, high calorie. We're going to name all of them. Very, very, very high. You can eat a small bowl of rice like this and you'll be shocked about your calorie content. Yet, you can eat a bigger bowl of what? Of salad or any vegetable that you like, and your amount will be much less. So, as you see, this food, that is the picture that you see here, I know Michael may have his own comments about them, right? But if you are not eating some of this as a result of this program that we are doing, to achieve energy balance, incorporate this in your diet. I tell people, start somewhere. Start today. Make a commitment to eat some vegetables and fruits. That's all. I'm not saying eat it 3 times, but somewhere, get it somewhere in there, you know. And then when your friends ask you, tell them you listen to a talk on God's rhythm. And because of that, and then gradually you'll be changing your lunch from the bacon bread that you've been eating in lunch, and you'll be adding more greens and salad to it. And I think that will go a long way to be able to help you. Now, and the final thing is this: no form of exercise is bad. If you say you can't run, stretch. Right? So, regular exercise. I'm showing all these various positions. Some of them, they look more like a dancing thing. But they are forms of exercise that you can do. Aerobics are great, but if it's not aerobics, you can stretch. Move your hand up, move your legs several times, sit on a bicycle, do something. I tell my patients who are a little bit elderly, you can go on treadmill, but probably you can get on an elliptical. And if the elliptical is becoming an issue, get a stationary bicycle. Move your legs, move something. and that is going to help you. I know that there's a lot of things out there that people are selling, and for exercise of the legs, exercise of the body. And the funny thing is this: exercise is you moving against resistance. Most of the devices there, you don't do anything. They are rather moving you. You are going nowhere. Okay? Exercise is because you're moving against resistance. So do that. And do that, what do I mean? Move against resistance. That's what you do. You move your legs, you move your body. So there is always a form of exercise for you to do. If you are going to somebody's office, if you're going to the shopping mall, instead of fighting with a guy to park next to the shopping mall, park at the back and walk to the shopping mall, right? As much as you can get some activity in your life, that will all count to make your to make your energy balance. The patient who told me, and I myself I realized it, the patient who told me that, Doc, I'm not eating anything, but why am I gaining weight? After talking to the patient, I realized that the patient has been eating the same food. Despite the fact that she told me that I've not done anything different. He said he's been eating the same food. But when the COVID-19 hit, boy, that was like an energy uber unbalance. And it's been difficult for the person to recover up to today. Simple thing. If you don't have a skill, get one. And at least every week you can measure yourself. And if your energy balance is going right or wrong, a patient came to me one time and he told me, let me tell you this story, then I'll end. Because Michael is telling me this time is up, so I'm going to end. But listen to this story. A patient came to me one time and my staff measured the patient's weight. And instead of the patient weight being whatever it is, 195 or 198, they recorded that the patient, his weight is 140 something. They said that they told the patient that, oh great, you've lost 50 pounds. That's what they told the patient, okay? So I entered the room and the patient told me, Doc, I've got this wonderful news. I said, what's the news? I like good news, so let's share the news. And he said, Doc, do you know that I've lost 50 pounds? I looked at the patient and I said, do you want to feel like you've lost 50 pounds? Do you want to believe that you've lost 50 pounds? Or you think you've lost 50 pounds? I'm giving you one of these three options. Do you want to believe that you've lost 50 pounds? Because that is faith. That means that I'm going to support you, that you're going to lose 50 pounds. Or do you think that you've lost 50 pounds? Or do you have evidence that you've lost 50 pounds? He said, Doc, why are you asking me that question? And I said, I've been seeing you. I don't think you've lost 50 pounds. Because you don't look like somebody who has lost 50 pounds. I said, you don't lose 50 pounds and look the same. He said, oh, Doc, why are you trying to? I said, I don't want to deceive you. My staff made you lose 50 pounds in one minute, right? But you've not lost the 50 pounds. I'm sorry. So I told the patient, I called my staff, please, can you kindly come and weigh my patient again rather than giving my patient for information? They went back, they measured my patient. It was the same 197. Why? So when she came back, she was not very happy. And I said, it is better to know the truth and the truth will set you free. I know you have a desire to lose 150 pounds. Let's discuss. So we talked about energy balance. And I said, may your belief and your desire to lose the 50 pounds happen. But it did not happen today. So we will have a plan. So we'll discuss a plan and the patient is working on it. Thank you very much for joining me. You may also want to do energy balance or you may be believing energy balance. But my prayer to you is make your belief a reality. And so that when you go to the doctor and they weigh you and they tell you that you've lost 50 pounds, when you stand on the scale the second time, it will still be the same number. Because once you do the things that we've talked about, I can tell you, you call us back and tell us, thank you, Doc, for talking about energy balance. God bless you, and we'll meet again. This is God's Rhythm.
Thanks for listening to God's Rhythm. Tune in every Monday and Thursday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to learn how to protect your heart. God bless you.